Hello, everyone. This is Melanie from Lightbeam's Treasures and Curiosities, taking a little break from the retail arbitrage, flipping, and eBay because I wanted to bring to you a story. It seems some of these alternate videos that I'm doing of my experiences and my stories have brought a lot of comments, and I really appreciate that. So today, I want to share with you my story when I used to be a human resources hiring manager. And I want to share with you not only some stories, but some real, genuine tips and tricks on how to nail an interview so that you can get the job of your dreams. Now, if you like these stories, if you like future stories, make sure you comment below, give me a little thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell at ding. This way you will be informed of future stories. So yes, as I told you, I was a hiring manager for approximately 6 years. It was both for a financial institution as well as a retail institution. And for both of them, I was the end of the line actual hiring manager. When you came into me, I was the one that made the decision on whether, yes, you were hired or no, you were not. So you really needed to impress me if you were going to land that job. And I hired anyone from first time starting positions all the way up to management positions. So I have that experience meeting of everything in between. And I want to share with you some funny stories that happen, as well as some tips and tricks that if you are in the market for a job, try to utilize some of these tricks and it may be worth it for you. One, please, if you're coming in, dress appropriately. Do not come in looking like you just came out of the mud. Be presentable. I'm not saying that you have to be all decked out in suit and tie and everything like that. No, dress appropriately for the job. If this is an entry-level position, then some nice pants, a nice button-down shirt, something that's clean and presentable, your hair in a presentable way, that goes a long way. If you're coming to me with shorts, with baggy pants, with the pants down to the ankles showing the underwear, with graphic t-shirts that have inappropriate language, that is going to affect your first time impression. So the first thing I say is make sure you're dressed appropriately. Number two, do not chew gum. I cannot tell you how many times people have walked in, they're literally chewing like a horse. You do not want to be chewing gum. Now, I understand in some instances you don't want your breath to smell. You know you're going to be talking. You want to make sure that it smells nice. So you know something, use a breath mint and then spit it out before you even get into the interview, or use Banaka, the spray, but be careful. You don't want it to smell like alcohol or anything like that. Even the Listerine strips, put it on your mouth, but you don't want to smell like you just took a whole bunch of alcohol. But the point is, do not chew gum during the interview. That is very off-putting. It's also bad when you're talking. You won't be able to talk clearly, and it looks unprofessional. So now, when you come for the interview, make sure you smile, but be genuine about the smile. I have had interview where people come in like that, and that's a little scary. I mean, just be genuine, be friendly. Look the interviewer in the eye. Make that eye contact. If you're uncomfortable about making eye contact, at least focus right above their eyes, so you're not like necessarily looking directly at their eyes, but if you go right above their eyes, it makes that appearance that they are talking directly to you. So you don't want them talking out in a distance. You don't want, I had an interview, this is no joke, the guy came in, his name was Justin, he curled himself like this, and the entire time he's talking, "Hi, my name is Justin." What am I going to do with that? I can't, if he can't even look at me, who's going to be his boss, how is he going to help a customer? How is he going to help a coworker? Or how is he going to interact in any way? So please, make sure you make that eye contact when you're looking face to face. So now, during the interview, you know they have a script that they're going to say. Most companies have this specific script, and it almost gets to the point that it's boring, where they're going to ask you, tell me about yourself. Tell me about a time that you did such and stuff. Tell me about a challenge that you did such and such. Yes, it's boring. You're going to be answering the same thing over and over and over. But you know something? Make it interesting. Make it something that you want out of the ordinary, that not only highlights you as a person and highlights your talents, but will give the interviewer something to remember you by. I mean, even, dare I say this, even if you have to make it up for all I care. Make you the hero of the story, because you know somewhere along the line they're going to ask you, name a challenging interaction that you've had with a customer and how you dealt with it. Well, you know something? Make it so that you are the hero of the story, that not only did you save the customer for whatever it was that they were looking for, but you also saved the company as well. Because you know something? The idea is you want to make the customer happy without giving away company profits. That's the key. So if you could somehow weave a story into that you've made a customer happy, that you made them satisfied, and you saved the company on their end, more power to you. They're going to like those stories. So now this is a very interesting topic, and it's a sensitive topic. And this is me from an outward persona saying this, not from an actual human resources, because you know what I'm talking about. I'm not allowed to talk about this if I'm in an interview. It is those with disabilities. Okay? By law, all a HR person can ask you is, are you capable of bending and lifting up to 50 pounds? That's basically all they can tell you. They cannot flat out ask, are you disabled? Are you this? Are you that? All they can basically say to you is, are you capable of, at ease, bending and lifting 50 pounds or more? For those of you who are genuinely disabled, yes, unfortunately, you're going to have to share your experiences with. But for people who are not, please do not take this time to start listing every single disability issue that you have. No offense, if you are on antidepressants, it doesn't matter. That's not going to affect your job. If you are on painkillers, now maybe there's a reason for your painkillers, but truthfully, I do not want to personally know your psychological issues unless it pertains to a specific job. But I mean, if you're just going for an entry-level position, I don't care that you see a therapist 5 times a week. I don't care that you're on antipsychotic medications for whatever reason. I don't care that you had visions of killing yourself or tried to commit suicide. Yes, these are actual stories that people have told me, when all I'm asking them is, are they capable of bending, lifting, or if there's any disabilities that I should be aware of. That's where, you know something, no offense, shut your mouth and don't even say anything. I mean, unless you're literally in a wheelchair and not capable of doing a job, there is no reason that a normal able-bodied person, even if they have any number of reasons, should be disclosing that to a human resources manager. And dare I say this, and somebody could yell at me, get the job first, then you could talk to your manager about any issues and problems that you have. Don't try to spill your entire medical history and your craziness to the hiring manager at all. Because you know something? A lot of it is not relevant to the job to begin with, and a lot of it you don't even have to disclose by law. So why are you putting a foot out of the office on that very first introductory meeting and telling them all the problems you have? They want to hire somebody who's mentally stable, physically stable, and capable of doing the job. If you're walking in and telling them that you're not mentally stable, guess what? You're not going to get the position. I have had people come to me that they have told me how many times they've tried to commit suicide. I have had somebody say that the reason that they were fired from their previous position is because they had anger management issues and decided to punch out their boss at the time since they didn't agree with it, and now they're on a anger management by the courts. Guess what? If you punched out your manager beforehand, what makes you think that I'm going to trust you enough that you're not going to punch me out as well? So you know something? Shut up. Do not tell that information to the hiring manager. Okay? They don't need to know that stuff. They want to know about you as a person, not your history in such a way. Now the next thing is they're going to ask you why you left your previous job. Now we all know usually the two number one reasons of why you left your office or why you are interested in leaving is either you're not happy with the money, you're not happy with the position, or you got fired. From a human resources perspective, they rather hire people who are already working and in a job already than people who are not employed. So you know something? A lot of times it's best to just grab the first job that you can get in between jobs. This way, when you do find the job that you're looking for, you could easily switch and say, hey, I went from this job to this job, blah, blah. But be careful. Don't do that too many times because work history, want to see, why are you jumping around from position to position so many times? That's not a good track record. You want to stay with the company as long as possible, and then for growth, for development, for a better salary, those are the reasons why you're looking to better yourself. Because it will get to a certain point where a company, you cannot grow with that specific company. That should be your reason as to why you left a company. Not because I hate the boss. Not because, oh, I punched him out and I got fired. Not because of I just didn't like the job and I didn't want to be there. Those are reasons not to disclose to a hiring manager. Now, I actually, involving a position, I dealt with a girl who all of a sudden started started going to shock. She went into anaphylactic shock while she was at work, and she was rushed to the hospital numerous times. And we couldn't figure it out until she got the correct diagnosis. And it turns out that the company we were working for recently introduced bananas into their menu. It was something that they never had before. They were introducing bananas, and her job was to make banana smoothies. Well, it turns out this girl was highly allergic to these bananas that just a mere touching them ended up sending her into anaphylactic shock where she had to get rushed to the hospital and get an EpiPen and all that stuff. Unfortunately, with a position like that, she no longer could do the job and she ended up leaving the company because of that. But if you are aware beforehand that you have a specific issue such as that, then don't go for a position in that line of work. I always say to people, try to do what you're capable of doing. If you are not capable of doing a certain position, then don't be trying to waste somebody's time and getting a job in that position. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, like I said, I have some funny stories of various interviews that I went on, and I think one of the most memorable stories, which this will be the one and only until the next video, but I had this woman who really, really wanted a job. I mean, she literally came in begging for a job. And I says, okay, what's your experience with work? And she said, oh, yes, I worked at Dairy Queen. I worked at one of the local grocery stores. I have experience. I says, okay, and was there a problem that you were unhappy with those? Oh, they all fired me. Okay, they fired you. Can you explain to me what the issue was as to why they fired you? I don't know how to count past 7. And I had to stop for a minute. I'm sorry. What do you mean? I can't count past 7. I can only, and she starts going, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm looking at her. And it took her a few minutes, but she finally got up to 7. So I said, you don't know what comes after 7. And she says, no, that's where the problem is. and I got fired because I'll tell you the story. And I says, okay, why'd you get fired? She says, a woman came up to me and her bill was $13. I says, okay, her bill was $13. She gave me $20. All right, so she gave me 20. So I said, that should be $7 back. And she looked at me and she's like, I guess so. I says, well, you told me you could count to 7. Yes, I can count to 7. I says, okay, well, she gave you 20. The bill was 13. So how much did you give her back? Oh, I gave her $23. And I looked at her. I says, you gave her back 23 when her bill was $13. Yes, I gave her back 23 because you have the 20 and you have the 13 and there's a 3 in the 13 and I gave her $3 more on top of that. I looked at her in shock. I was like, okay, so you can't count past 7. I said, but I'm a little confused about something. She's like, what? I said, when you're on a register, didn't it tell you how much change to give back? And she's like, yeah, it did. I said, so why didn't you just follow with what the register tells you to get back? But I don't know how to go past 7. So, unfortunately, yeah, I pretty much left it at that. But it's almost sad that there are adult people out there in society that cannot count past 7. And I don't know if that's a illiteracy thing. I don't know if it's a brain damage sort of thing. I don't know if it's just a lack of not willing to learn or try to comprehend math. Maybe somebody could explain it to me. But the fact is, if you can't even count money, that's an issue. I also can't tell you how many times I've had that issue where people do not know how to count money. So I'm going to leave this, and that's the final story, is if you do not know how to count money and do not know basic math, then please do not try to get a job as a cashier. Do not try to get a job where you are going to be dealing with money. So hopefully that's just a couple of words of advice for people who are looking for your basic entry-level positions in a retail establishment. I could go into future videos in regards to more managerial and more corporate level positions, but for now, I just wanted to deal with the basics and I wanted to share a story with you. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to hit the like, hit the subscribe, give me a comment, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. This is Melanie with Lightbeams Treasures and Curiosities.